Welcome to the magic of stock market cycles projections. I'd normally tell you if anyone said anything about magic and related to stock market analysis that you should run as fast as you can because there are so many charlatans in this business. But I have to tell you that if you have been watching us for the past month or two, you can't help feel but be impressed by the way these cycle projections and this fabulous cycle projection software has been working. This is the week ending October 25th, and this is the update for the week ending October 25th. And we will review some things, go over some of the projections, show you a few technical things, hopefully not keep it too long, but we want you to start getting excited about what you're looking at here. This is something, I can't call it revolutionary, because it's not by any means. I've been doing this kind of projection since the late 70s, early 80s, so you're talking about, almost 40 years now? It's nothing new, but it's something that is fabulous, and the fabulous thing about it is that I finally found someone who could do the right thing with software for cycle projections, and it's so exciting I can't begin to tell you. I want to get you excited about it too. The reason we're doing these free updates is for promotion of this software. I'll tell you that very frankly. I want you to see how it works, and I want you to get excited about it, and I want you to want it. So that's where we are. That's my little promotional bit. I should tell you right away, please subscribe if you haven't done so. If we do any off-the-cuff updates, intraday updates beyond the regularly scheduled ones, if you subscribe and ring the little bell, you will be notified. Let's get into the market action now. This was the last bar yesterday, and in that last bar we showed you this projection chart and said there was a really good chance we get up there pretty quickly. This is the projection from this particular offset, 30.1851 to 30.2150. Well, as you can see, we didn't reach it in the very first bar because the first bar was kind of a fake out to the downside, and then up it went and reached it very quickly. So that projection was met very quickly, and we were confident that at least over the short term it would be met. The next projection we want to show you is this one right here, I believe. Now this one was interesting because look what happened. We got a projection to 30.25.98 minimum projection, and the high today on the cash was 30.27.39, about not even 1.5 points inside the projection window. Anytime you get inside a projection window, though, you have to be wary because that means there could be some kind of pullback. What you always do when you get inside a projection window is look to the longer offsets to see if there are higher projections outstanding, or in the case of downside projections, if they have been met, whether there are lower projections outstanding. So that's what you always have to be on the lookout for. And we know, you know, because we've showed you over the last several weeks, that there are significantly higher projections outstanding. But that doesn't mean that once you meet one of these shorter term projections, like we did today, that we could not have a pullback. That's very possible. Okay, the next thing we want to show you, this is pretty interesting. We want to show you, come on, let's get to that chart. It's this one right here, I believe. No, here we go. All right, there are two charts here that are possibly important for the longer term market outlook. We should tell you, we haven't told you enough, that we do believe that the market is in the process of making a very, very major top. When I say in the process, it's taken a long period of time. We'll show you the New York Composite Index in a moment and tell you a little story about it. But the first chart we want to show you is of the S&P cash. This is a beautiful chart. Look at this chart. These are the longer term projections. This is the highest projection we have on the S&P cash. It calls for a minimum of 31.3504 and a maximum as high as 33.5259. These are 20-week offsets for nominal 40-week projections. But here's what I did today that made it interesting, because being aware of this upside projection, I said, what kind of tops lines can we draw that would take us into this projection area? Now, obviously, one of the possibilities is going all the way back to the September high of last year, drawing a line across there, which would take you to a lower area here. This one, however, is somewhat steeper, and it takes you into these projection areas by, let's look what this is. This is November 15th. So by the middle of November, this is not a prediction, but it's a possibility. By the middle of November, you could reach up to this higher trend line, tops line, and reach into the projection area for the S&P cash. So that's something that it's not of immediate importance, but it could become important over the next few weeks. We're into November before you know it, in case you haven't noticed. Okay, here's the other chart we want to show you, and this is a fabulous trend line. You don't too often get trend lines like this. This trend line was constructed. I'll show you how it was constructed. It was constructed from an intraday chart, open high-low chart, and all we did, you'll see how far back this goes, it's almost there we go again with the word magical line. But this goes, if you start this at the low in August of 2017, that would be right here. If I click this line, I don't know if you can see this little square right in here, but that shows you the first anchor for this trend line. The second anchor for the trend line is right here in June 28th, I believe. So these 2 points alone, this is incredible. This point and this point, August of 17, June of 18, let me go back and show you what an incredible line this has been. This is moving it backwards. You can see here, once you get above the line, it becomes great support, as it did here in April, May, June, July, August, September of 2017. Then we took off of that blow-off top that we saw in the New York Composite Index. But let's go back on this line and take a look at it. This line goes back. Look what it did back here. Again, underneath the line, it finds resistance when it gets up to it. Breaks above the line, it finds support. This line goes all, we're talking about 2016 here. Watch this go back in time. Way above it, all this time period in 2011, you got below it for maybe a week. You went up, you came down to it, support at it. You went up, you came down to it, support at it in June, July. You went up, support, didn't quite get down to it again. So you remember when the last major bottom was, don't you? Last major bottom, March of 09. Let's go back that far so you can see this line all the way back. Here's the 09 low. And even then, this is one of the most important bottoms of the last 20 years, even then, we were below it for a couple of weeks. And up we went. And since 09, we're talking about 20 years now, this line has been incredible on the New York Composite Index. It has been support all the way up, broke it significantly, and once you broke it, it became resistance trying to rally back, and then once again you got back above it in early 2017, and this is the high that was established on the New York Composite Index. Not many people know this, but this high in January of 2018 has never been surpassed on the New York Composite Index. Remember, that index is all the stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. It has never been surpassed. So we broke it big time. Look at this break. Middle of October last year, coming into a rally back to it again. And then now watch this. This is just incredible. We had this big break. Let me zoom in on this so you can see it, because the line is truly amazing. Here we go. So here's the October decline. We broke below it. Even here we tried to rally. Once we broke, tried to rally back up to it, couldn't get up to it. So we came down to the late October low, rallied up to it into November, couldn't get above it, broke down again. Then we rallied the final time into early December, didn't quite get up to it, and we had the significant decline down into the December bottom. But look what happened after that. Look what has happened ever since that bottom in December. Rallied, 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 came down, rallied, rallied, boom. Where did we stop? Virtually exactly at that line. I prefer actually looking at these on closing prices because this is now a closing price chart with a trend line that was drawn with intraday lows. But look at this. It's just incredible. We came up to it on April 30th, down a little bit, boom, the largest decline of the year from April into May. Rallied again into it. Look at this. July 3rd, one day above it, came down, up again into July 15th, up again into the end of the month, could not get above it, had this decline here. The reason I'm showing you all this is because if we're going to get the kind of move that I think we could get, we could rally once again up to that line, and it might be the final rally. Why do I say that? Well, I've drawn a line across from the January of 2018 high. And remember now, this high was established at that time and has never been exceeded on the New York Composite Index, all the stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. So look at this, though. Where do these lines meet? These lines meet the first couple of days in January of next year. That's not that far away anymore, folks. We're talking about the whole month of November, December, a couple of months, a couple of days left in October, and the beginning of January. So is this a prediction that that's going to happen and this will be a final top? No. But I want you to be aware of what we're looking at here, because if we do finally get up and get back to that January of 18 high, we continue to have this significant resistance in this almost magical line in the New York Composite Index. Okay, a lot of stuff to look at. We have higher projections, significantly higher projections, but we met some very short-term projections today, so there could be some kind of weakness into next week, but we're not looking for any kind of important market top as yet. We have no indication from the cycle projections that we have seen one. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. And when you subscribe, ring the little bell. And once you ring the little bell, you'll be notified of all future updates. Thanks a lot for watching.